Welcome to Royal Legacy, where we will explore the rich athletic history and deep family connections of BYU sports. Join us as we honor the past, celebrate the present, and look forward to the future of the BYU Cougars. Here's your host, Lauren McClain.
How's it going, everyone? I'm Lauren McClain, and this is Royal Legacy, where we dive deep into the family connections of BYU sports. This week, we are revisiting a past episode of Royal Legacy. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back soon with a new episode.
Joining me today are BYU cross-country athletes and twins, Jacob and Garrett Stanford. You guys, thank you so much for being here with me.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thank you.
This is going to be fun. Let's start off with the most important thing. Jacob, I heard you were recently engaged. How did you and your fiance Shayla meet? She works here in the broadcast building, which is super cool. But
that's right. Yeah.
How did you guys originally meet?
Yeah. So we met on the mission. We were both reassigned because of COVID. We were both reassigned to Colorado, Fort Collins. In our first area there, we were both assigned Spanish speaking. Met, hit it off kind of. She was super cool to me. I'm like, wow, I really want to hang out with this girl more. And so, but then once we got to our original assignments again, I went to Chile, she went to Guatemala. We were able to keep in contact, and then eventually coming back here a few months after being home, we started dating, and now 2.5 years later, we're engaged. So
here you are.
Yeah.
So after 2.5 years of dating, how did you end up proposing to her?
Oh, yeah. Well, we wanted a long time to get to know each other. We were really happy just getting to know each other, enjoying the dating life. Being students here. I proposed to her not really by surprise. We were talking about being married for a long time, and we were planning for it, but the day and how is how I was going to surprise her, not if it was happening.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yep.
So we drove down with her sister and her boyfriend, and we rented an Airbnb, the four of us, and I decorated the whole place. I got like a sign and stuff, and made a trip out of it down in Cedar City. So it was really fun.
That's awesome. Yeah. I love it. I love, you know?
Yeah.
Garrett, you've been married for a few years to Maddie.
Yes.
What's been the biggest adjustment to balancing married life with athletics?
Oh, 100%. Great question. I think that the biggest thing is that I always feel terrible now going on travel trips. Every once in a while, Maddie will sing. There's this trending song on Instagram right now where I'm going to butcher it, but it goes, "I'm so lonely, nobody knows me." And,
beautiful.
And she'll sing that as I'm leaving for my next travel trip. And I think she just wants me to come home as soon as possible. But she obviously supports me a ton, and it's been a lot of fun being married now 13 months. So.
Yeah, because you guys are gone a lot. Like that's a lot of time when you're on the road, right?
Yeah, being a distance runner, you're gone in the fall, winter, and spring. So we're on triple duty in terms of competing seasons, right? So
she's singing that song on repeat. You're hearing that a lot. Do your significant others ever come to watch you train a race? We'll start with Garrett.
Yeah, actually, I have a funny story about this, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Last year, during the track and field regional championship, I was competing in the steeplechase race, and this was the one event that my wife Maddie, were we married at the time? Hang on. Yes, we were. Yeah. She splurged, got a plane ticket. She was in Bensenville, Arkansas with us, and as a treat, I fell in the steeplechase race right in front of her.
Oh.
So no, I just probably with 2 laps into the race, I just collide with another athlete, and the steeplechase is about 2 miles long with barriers, right? And I go tumbling down. I'm towards the front, so there's a couple of people scraping me up with their racing spikes because I'm on the ground. And Maddie gets to watch that in full, better than HD. And I just remember hearing her be like, "Come on, Garrett, get up and get back up. Don't quit," right? So, I think that was a race that she wished she didn't come watch. But other than that,
what better person to have right there, though,
I know,
than your
it was
wife?
nice to have her support.
Come on.
Yeah, I had a concussion after, I'm pretty sure, and she was. We were able to get a lunch, and it was I'm glad she was there. She probably wasn't, but I was glad. Yeah.
You're like, Maddie, I promise this doesn't happen every time. This is this is rare. This is not how I race.
No, 100%. Yeah. But.
So Jacob, how does Shayla support you in your track career?
Shayla's been super supportive. So one of my first races here at BYU was a local race here in the morning, and I was being paced by a couple of my amazing teammates, to name a few: Creed Thompson, Joey Noakes, some of the big names on the team right now. And the biggest name, Connor Mance, was actually helping me hit the time that I needed. And this was super early in the morning. It's a 10K, which is a 30-minute long race. You know, it's kind of a drag to ask someone to watch that. But Shayla got up and she brought her friends and she brought her sister, and they all came to watch me. And I promise you, that is the race that I needed her the most, because I was so close to dropping out. It was so hard. It ended up being like one of the hardest races of my life. But because she was there, I knew I couldn't drop out with her watching. It would be too embarrassing. But her support was definitely meaningful in that moment too. So
you're like, I'd rather pass out right now.
And I basically did. I mean, I stumbled across that finish line. It was so hard, but I was glad to have her there.
The power of love.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the start of your collegiate careers. You were both highly recruited in high school by some of the schools on the West Coast. What made you choose to come to BYU? Let's start with Jacob.
Well, BYU is the premier distance running school. We are led by the legendary Coach Ed Stone, who, in my opinion, is the best coach currently in the world for Olympic level, world class level athletes. He's seriously an incredible legend of a coach. So being able to be one of his athletes, just regardless of the school, was alone a great honor. But then on top of that, going to BYU and understanding like the standards that it takes to be a BYU student as well as a BYU athlete to represent the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, that is something that we considered to be a really powerful honor as well. And so I think those are a few reasons we decided to come here.
So it's kind of a no-brainer when it came right down to it, right?
We
Would
were
you say
really
that?
ecstatic for the offer. We were, I mean, yeah.
I would definitely say no-brainer. Yeah, it was fun.
Garrett, what was the recruiting process like as twins? Did you guys make the decision together, or was there a chance that you were going to split up?
Oh, it was totally ride or die together. We do everything together. Even now that Jacob's about to get married and I've been married, we spend a ton of time together. We study similar majors in the business school. We build apps together. We run together. We pretty much do everything together, right? So, and we knew that going in, and it was always our strength too in running, especially being able to push each other. I think you need someone to push you in distance running, right? And so I definitely know that if Jacob's doing well in a race, that there is 100% no chance that I'm not going to let him beat me by at least more than a few seconds, right? So, yeah.
I was going to ask you, were you guys pretty competitive with each other?
Yes, I would say so.
Yeah, I think we have a good, healthy competition between ourselves. I think it's because we want to see the best in each other and in ourselves. So if I see Garrett doing great, that means I have the full genetic capabilities to do the same. There's really nothing holding me back except for maybe the mindset of the day or whatever. And that can be really powerful since distance running is overcoming that mindset. So it's really powerful to have a twin as a competitor, but teammate and kind of point of reference of where you could be. So
right.
Yeah.
Well, you're now part of a national championship team. What has that experience been like for you, Garrett?
Oh my goodness. I mean, incredible. It's so humbling, first of all, to be able to be on such a great team. Jacob and I had the pleasure of training with these guys for a number of years now. We're going into our final cross-country season this fall. Being able to be with this brotherhood of fine athletes for many years, it's incredible. And there's so much, being able to be there for a few years, there's so many tough workouts, sicknesses, trials of unbelievable measures that like people just don't see on race day, even years prior, right? And so all of that felt like a culmination and a really dramatic finish to a lot of people's final cross-country season. So to be able to participate in that in any degree was honestly a blessing. So,
and Jacob, how does it feel for you to be part of such a dominant program?
It's amazing. We hear about the stories of the legendary athletes of the past. I'll give an example of Jared Ward, who he talked about. They didn't end up winning the national championship that year, but he knew that BYU was on trajectory to become this dominant. This was back, and he became an Olympic athlete. He's exceptional, and he said something that every athlete on that team and consequentially before and after will be part of that national championship squad, because that's the work that it takes to build up that dominance, that level of national competitiveness. It doesn't just happen in a year. It happens over decades. Coach Isom been here for 20 years, 20 plus years, 25, I think.
Yeah, around there.
24?
Yeah.
So the program's been building to this culmination. We celebrated a victory in 2019 as well as our first national championship, and now this one in 2024 is our second. And it really is feeling like those years of building up the program to become the dominant force of distance running powerhouse that it is was really built off the backs of so many athletes that came before us and will come since and come after us. So yeah, it's truly a blessing to be part of a puzzle piece in this whole, mural, you could say, of BYU cross country. So
it's amazing to see how far this program has come.
Yeah.
And where it's at right now. It's so fun to watch. And you guys are a part of it, which is incredible, which means you are just elite athletes. I want to know, what are your favorite races that you run? Let's start over here with Garrett.
Oh man, let's see. Favorite race. I think a sort of recent one for me would have to be the Big 12 championship. Maybe Jacob was going to say this one too. This was this past fall, a few months ago. We competed in cross country. It's just one championship race, right? And you have every team in the Big 12 there. And the number one seed in the nation was Oklahoma State. They're an incredible team. They have been for many years. And we knew that they were going to be a really competitive team. And so we brought our A game, and we were fortunate enough to win. And that was, I think, sharing and just seeing like we could take down even the best program, right? I think that brought a lot of confidence, and that confidence soared us into the national championship. So.
And I saw that video on one of your Instagrams. I can't. It was from that race, wasn't it?
I believe it's from mine. Yeah. Our
so
team,
emotional.
Yeah, our teammates sometimes make fun of Jacob and I because we really just are guttural to the finish, and that sometimes shows. And in this case, BYU Cougars posted it, right? So that was a little embarrassing. But yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah,
I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, so we were the second seed. Most people wouldn't consider that to be an upset. It was truly an upset. I mean, no one considered Oklahoma State to be beatable this year.
Wow.
They were incredibly dominant in 2023. They won by unspeakable margins, literally we've never seen before, over another really good team, which was Northern Arizona. And then they were returning a lot of their athletes. So And we knew we had a couple guys that were coming back. We didn't have Casey Klinger, who's our number one athlete in 20. He didn't race in 2023. He was injured, and so we were coming back. We were like, okay, we know we're going to be better than the year before, but we don't know if we're quite as good as the number one seed. And it really is going to come down to race day, and to experience that emotion that Garrett was talking about. Yeah, it was a really emotional day to see it all come together. So.
I'm here with Jacob and Garrett Stanford from the BYU men's cross country team. Garrett, running is often thought of an individual sport, but cross country is all about the team. So what's the team culture like at BYU?
I think it's incredible. We as a team, I think we band together really well. And we band together in interesting ways where no one wants to be the guy that doesn't sleep right or eat right because we have so many guys that just live, eat, sleep, and breathe distance running, and in a really healthy way that I believe. We still have a ton of incredible scholars, people doing all sorts of things outside of running as well, but man, when it comes to practice time, we hammer it, and we hammer it as a group, and I think that's what's really cool about it. So.
Really push each other. And then like you mentioned, you have that twin connection. So Jacob, would you say having a twin on the team is a huge advantage, Or is that constant competition that almost pushes you too far? What would you say?
It's definitely an advantage. So we have another set of twins on the team, the Thompson brothers, Davin and Creed Thompson. They are exceptional. They're world class. And they also push themselves between each other. And I think in slightly different ways. They're not quite as identical as Garrett and I are, which is interesting to see how other twins navigate being a twin, because it's a very interesting life being a twin.
I'm sure.
It's very different from what I would imagine not being a twin is, because
you wouldn't know, right?
Yeah,
but.
it's not. Yeah, it's really cool to see how being a twin for us has blessed us so much, because we wouldn't have gone to the heights in our sport, in academics, in our extracurriculars. Excuse me. We have a company that we do together. There's so many facets of our lives that are amplified and literally wouldn't exist at this point if we weren't twins. So it's really cool.
Have you guys ever finished neck and neck? How often does that happen in races?
Funny story. We used to decide our finishes by rock, paper, scissors in high school.
Yep.
So because
you were that close?
Yeah, coming to the finish line.
My gosh.
Coming to the finish line a few steps before, we got who's going to win it this time. And since we did all the work, 99% of the race is done, might as well just leave it up to basically chance at that point. And then finish it off with rock, paper, scissors. Look, in college races, it's a little more serious, and we're not winning by margins as much as we did in high school. So it's a little bit more tight at the finish line, but yeah.
Incredible. Garrett, do you guys ever get mixed up by coaches or teammates, or do you have any funny stories like that?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I think that any time that our hair cuts eclipse and are the same length, I can tell that there's a trepidation in my coach's eyes and my teammates' eyes. I know that they know who we are. And the wedding ring has helped for the last year, but
that's coming to an end.
Yeah, that is coming to an end. So we'll have to do different styles or something. But we tend to have different hair most of the year, but maybe for a month or two each year, it's really identical, and basically no one can tell us apart anymore.
It throws a lot of people off. The hair is a big tell for most people.
Yeah,
because Jacob, you usually have a little shaggier.
Yeah.
Is that right?
That's right.
And then you keep it shorter, Garrett?
I think so, yeah.
I like my ears warm.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It's Utah. It's cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before continuing your running career at BYU, both of you served full-time missions for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Santiago, Chile, and then Fort Collins, Colorado. Jacob, right? And then Garrett in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Yeah.
Was that a hard decision for you guys to make, or was that always the plan?
Oh, I think it's always a hard decision.
Yeah.
Even though we grew up in the church and have been blessed with very faithful parents who taught us good, I think that like good parents, they gave it up to us to decide. And what's crazy about college in a lot of ways is that you get to be your own person in so many new aspects, right? You can go to class or not if you want to for the first time, and you can go to practice or not if you want to for the first time. And that exercise of free will comes to a climax, I believe, with choosing to serve a mission. I think that the blessings, though, have overpaid already, and I'm only 24. So, but yeah, it's hard because you abandon a lifestyle of running that we're used to and comfortable with and really love. Like in Argentina, I didn't run at all, ever, and in Colorado, only a little bit. And that's true for most guys on the team, if they get any running. So, yeah.
Then you have to start all over.
You got to start
with
all over.
That training the second you get back. But Jacob, how would you say those experiences have shaped you as an athlete and as an individual?
Well, I think it's really shaped how I view what I value, because the mission, like what Garrett was talking about, is kind of this ultimate point of sacrifice. Mm-hmm. If you're like, as an athlete, as a student, basically everything in my life, save the church, was being sacrificed for a time, for that one aspect. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to shout out one of my information systems professors here. Professor Hilton talked to us in class. He said, you can't give a crumb to the Lord without receiving a loaf back. And I think the mission by allowing myself to make that decision and by executing it and doing the best that I could really allowed me to see the Lord do that for me. Because it's that ultimate sacrifice, right? It was time given up. I didn't know if I would ever run again for BYU when I got back. In fact, because of COVID, because of all the roster rearrangements while we were gone, we were actually cut from the team upon coming home from our missions. And that's just because that happens. That's nothing, like, it wasn't anything personal. It was that's just how the athletic world is there's only so much to go around. And when COVID was happening, there was so much unsure about how good an athlete will be when they get home and everything like that. So we had to re-walk back on, pretty much, re-earn our spot, re-earn our scholarship. And I believe in part because of my faithfulness to serve as, to serve the fullest mission that I could, I was able to kind of regroup when I got home and do what I needed to for God to put me on the path that I'm on now. So,
wow, Garrett, what was that like to have to come home, you find out you're not on the team anymore, and really just start from square one and to make it back to where you were?
Yeah, we were provided with lots of resources still, being able to maybe not necessarily train with the guys, but we were able to still do workouts, train, get mileage in. I think that process, it was challenging, but it didn't feel like there was any sense of abandonment from the team.
Yeah.
It still felt like we were a part of the culture in a lot of ways. Jacob and I still ran together. And then with the cross-country season, tryouts and people on the bubble and things, and then we were able to jump back into the swing of things. So that would be about 8 months after we came home from our mission. So it worked out, I think, really well for us ultimately. So, yeah, challenging, but super happy the way it played out. So,
that's a lot of work. That's hard to do.
Yeah.
You guys grew up in Carlsbad, California, and we'll start with Jacob. How'd you first get into running?
Oh, that's a good question. So kind of by accident, we were really big soccer guys, as most young boys are, I feel like, and exploring, as one does, what you're good at and trying to find your niche. And I think no matter where Garrett and I went, we were always going to have each other. So we always had like a friend to do the sport with. We never had that experience of going somewhere and we literally knew no one. We always knew at least one. It was each other. And so that brought a lot of comfort in trying new things for us. And so cross country, I didn't even know, this is a 7th grade-ish time. I didn't even know that cross country was its own sport. I knew of track and field in the Olympics, but as a sport, I didn't know cross country was anything. But we were recommended to try it, and since we had each other, we're like, let's go in and let's do it. We like, being active. We're pretty scrappy guys on the soccer field. Like, we can get to the ball. We're not very good once we get it. We're not very technical, but we can move around the field pretty well. And so we gave it a try. And in beautiful California, like, running is just like second nature. It's like it just comes because you want to enjoy it just where you live. So. I think the sport really came naturally to us in that way. So yeah.
Garrett, who fell in love with it first?
Oh, definitely Jacob. 100% not me. I even did. Actually, I don't want to cause any controversy, but I even during the track and field season in middle school, where the stakes were pretty low, chose not to do distance running because I was so afraid of it. I did literally any other event, but Jacob did distance running and was excelling at it. And so I knew the calling was coming, and I would do cross country in the fall as well. But I think that for me personally, this might be a distinction between the two of us, is that I think the fall in love was a lot slower normally because it's running, right? It's not fun on its own. But I think that just the community, just finding people, and being able to do it with other people is really the only way that it can be fun for a long period of time, right?
So you think if it weren't for Jacob, you may have gone a different athletic path.
Yeah. If it weren't for him, definitely, I would have probably, I I don't know, done some random sport or something, and definitely not done it in college. So yeah.
Wow. Well, not only were you guys incredible runners, but you're very, very smart. I love the story. You started coding in 5th grade. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
That is just crazy. So, Garrett, how did you guys get into that?
We loved video games as a kid. We loved
still now.
For the record. I think that we were very creative kids. I think it's fair to say that we were extremely creative. We would make Lego movies and make our teacher in like elementary school make our whole class watch it, and then we found out that with not a lot of coding work, surprisingly, as 5th graders, we could make video games and share those with our friends now too. And so that's how it started. We made video games for our class assignments. That's not a joke. In like 5th grade.
Oh my gosh.
To submit and for people to play, and then it just kind of kept spiraling. And then we decided to make a video game series of our high school team, so all of our friends were characters. And we even promoted it. We were on a good high school team, and people followed us on Instagram. So it actually even hit the top charts on the Apple App Store, that video game. And then from there, that kind of we wanted to learn more about programming, and so we took some college courses on it. Right. So that's the journey of how we became programmers. Yeah.
Well, Jacob, what was it like having seen that go public and like gain recognition, and you guys are just these young kids kind of messing around? What was that like?
I mean, it's super empowering as a kid to show stuff that you've made. Like, so Garrett was mentioning those Lego movies in 5th grade. Yeah, we like loved creating stuff and sharing it to people. So I think that's still something that we love to do. Because I always said programming is like just a medium for like our artwork to just show itself. Even with more professional and business-minded applications, which we're making now, it's still very much an art form for us. Because there's a back end, there's there's the programming, but there's so much design, there's so much you have to think about as far as creativity goes. Not to make it sound cooler than it probably is, but it really, you do have to consider like the creative part. Otherwise, you're just making, text files that no one wants to look at. So I think that our angle of that really, that's why I was able to start so early, is because we just loved art and creativity and exploring different ways to make that manifest. So.
That is so fascinating because my brain just doesn't even work that way. Like, I can't imagine these two little boys just on their computer, like, coming up with these things.
That's exactly what we look like, yeah.
We shared a computer, too, or it was actually our family computer. Like, it wasn't even ours. Yeah. Like, we just would bug our mom to, like, put in the password so we can go on our program and type on the keyboard, like, over each other. Yeah.
So. And didn't your mom have to put her name like under one of your apps or something?
Oh,
You weren't 18 yet, right?
That's right. So when we released it's called Hay Bales 3. It's unfortunately not on the App Store anymore, but when it was, it was on the top charts. But you have to be 18 years old to produce an app. And so we had to get our mom's driver's license to prove that like we had an identity of an adult over 18. And so instead of like a company on the App Store, like who developed the app, it just says our mom's name, which we always thought was really funny. Yeah.
She's like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, yeah, right.
So
I mean, she did kind of, right? She instilled that in us, I think. So yeah.
Take me through Hay Bales. So it's a running game for cross country runners. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So walk me through the inspiration behind that, Garrett.
Yeah, I think that we just so we were entering into more of our captain leadership role on the high school team, and we noticed that there was kind of a little bit of a lack of engagement on the team in terms of like a desire to be as good as possible, and we took being captains pretty seriously. We were the leaders on our team as young as 15, so it was all new to us, but the only way that we knew how to express that was by saying, hey, we're going to make this video game and all of us are going to be runners and characters. And I think that helped create some excitement about being on the cross-country team because the game itself is super zany. It's not like a serious cross-country race. You're jumping over hay bales, and then there's like fly swarms that attack you, and you can get run over by cars and stuff. So
it's not reflective of a real cross-country experience, but it's what the minds of these 15-year-olds thought they were able to do. Yeah.
Incredible. All right, Jacob, take me through. You guys mentioned before we started this that you guys are working on a new project right now. Tell me about it.
Yeah. So like I mentioned, we're still making apps. We're still producing applications. It is more of a business perspective now that we're older and we're in the business school. I'm majoring in information systems and Garrett in business strategy. So we're experimenting with making a social media app, especially with sports in mind. So the competitors, right? If you want to go on a social media to talk about sports, like the latest event, you have to kind of sift through current events,
right,
politics, things that don't really relate. And that's just kind of the limitation that happens when you want to create a social media for everything, that you're good at everything and not great at anything.
Right.
So we want to be great at sports content, at current event sports content.
And it's a super sensible model as well, because Ronaldo's the number one followed individual on Instagram, and Messi has the most liked photo on Instagram. You know, sports is really popular on social media, but we think that there's a gap there where there's an ability for teams to connect more with fans, and that's really what we're interested in. Unfortunately, with upcoming NIL changes in the sporting world, athletics is going to be a lot more expensive for universities.
Right.
A lot more, right, with NIL changes, which we obviously celebrate, but also it poses a challenge with roster cuts, fewer people getting opportunities. And so the goal of our app, it's called Stadium, and it's to help teams raise money through fans. You can think of it as like Patreon for athletes, but then also on the flip side, providing fans with a more engaging experience. And so, and all of that is kind of baked into what looks like a social media app. So that's the premise and the pitch, I guess, of the app. So
when is this going to launch? Is this something that it's still in the works for a while, or are you guys getting close?
Actually, we're really excited to announce it launched this morning, which is really phenomenal. Yeah, which is really great timing. But no, it's really we're really proud of what we've put out. It's a rough draft of what we plan on developing. Right now, it only supports. You can go in and follow the BYU track and field team. We're in communications and making relations with the rest of the BYU teams, and then hopefully from their broader horizons. And so I'm a member of the Student Athlete Academic Council, so I get to communicate with the board members of BYU Athletics, and so that's been a really nice advantage that I've been able to pose as well.
So it's called Stadium,
yes,
and anyone can get it on their app store and download it right now?
That's right, and it's called Stadiem. So stay, and then diem, the Latin word for day. So it's a misspelling of stadium.
These guys are athletes and in academics. They don't know how to spell stadium. What are you doing here?
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
The tagline is
Latin version.
Yeah, the tagline is every day is game day, because there's always every off season. Basketball just finished. We have to wait for football season. Hey, track and field's in season right now.
Yeah.
Might as well follow a sport that's going on. So that's really our angles. We want to celebrate every kind of sport. So
yeah, and it's really exciting. You can go on right now and submit predictions for how you think the team and athletes are going to do, and then you can get rewards from it. So
that is really cool, you guys.
Thanks.
What an incredible thing. Most college athletes barely have time for school and training, and then you're in serious relationships and you're developing apps. Jacob, what's the secret to your time management? How do you guys do it all?
You have to make your hobby what we do, or what you want to do with your life. My hobby, like if you were to break down my hobbies, it's things I already have to do. It's programming, hanging out with my fiance. Of course, that's an amazing hobby, and running. Those, like, I don't see those as work. Obviously it's not without its challenges. All those things are, can be difficult, especially balancing them. But if you embrace the challenge that life provides, you more often than not come out with something amazing to show for it. Like, if it wasn't a challenge, to run, then you're never gonna improve. If it's not a challenge to create something with whatever career path you want to take, whether it's technology or arts or whatever, if you're not challenging yourself, then you're never gonna break out of that mold and be different. And not necessarily saying that being different is what makes money, but but it's a good way to.
Oh, yeah. No, I think that's great wisdom.
To put it simply.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, my last question for you guys is, looking ahead, what are your biggest goals for this upcoming season? We'll start with Garrett.
Oh, I think that my biggest goal would be to make it to the national meet individually in track and field. So we have the national cross-country meet where we go as a team. However, we also have a more limited pool of athletes that get to go to the track and field outdoor national championship. I've never gone before. I've made it as far as we mentioned at the beginning of this radio show, the regional meet where I fell. And so I would like to surpass as far as I've made it in this season and punch a ticket to that national championship. So.
It's a great goal. What about for you, Jacob?
Yeah, I mean, that goal as well, but I think another goal to add for the sake of variety is that we have this top 10 board in the indoor track. Anyone can go see it. You can go see all the legendary times and athletes throughout BYU's history. I would love to get a 10,000 kilometer mark on there, which is highly elite. I mean, it's a really stacked pool of athletes there. So it's definitely a lofty goal, but that's my goal. So
I'm here with Jacob and Garrett Stanford from the BYU cross country team. You guys are incredible, like truly, truly incredible. I can't wait to see what else you guys do in your lives athletically and otherwise. So thank you so much for taking the time with me today. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a blessing.
Thanks again to Jacob and Garrett Stanford for coming on the show with me. Whitney Sheffield helped produce this episode with senior producer Terry South. You can join the Royal Legacy wherever you get your podcasts, on Apple, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, or on BYUradio.org. Royal Legacy is a production of BYU Broadcasting.